Behind a taxi. Guys, welcome to the channel. It's boy, and I appreciate that you're here with me today. Oh yeah, I'm with the Ford Tourneo, and yeah, it's an interesting bus, this one. You know, the last time I had a bus that was parked somewhere around here, it was almost the same in color. Probably they call it a different color, but that bus cost R1,200,000 rands more. So yeah, I don't know if I said that properly, but 1,200,000 rands more will get you the other bus from Mercedes. This one is the Ford Tourneo, and hey, I think one of the most interesting things about it is that it's probably the longest bus that we have on the road right now, because this thing measures just close to 5.5 meters, which is more than the Toyota Hi-Ace, the Quantum, specifically whatever you want to call it, which is quite interesting. But in here, it is a 2-liter turbocharged diesel engine pushing out 100 kilowatts and 360 Newton meters of torque. But hey, look, you know what? There's a lot to talk about, because it's a little bit interesting, because when it comes to design elements, there are some parts that I think they get me a little bit, and there are some parts that I think, yeah, like the face, I think it looks quite cool. But hey, you know how we do it on the channel. I don't want to spend a lot of time out here because it's winter now and it means it's a little bit cold. With that said, guys, I think let's just get in, talk about it more, and see everything else on the way. Let's go. But before we go, maybe let me just show you around a little bit, because yeah, you can see I'm moving back a bit, because yeah, this thing, like I said, it's so long. It's so long, and because of that, it means it's very practical. Just want to show you in here. I put it like a baby seat there, and you can see the spaces in here, man. There's just plenty of space. One thing that when we had the vehicles, people were talking about was, but it looks like it doesn't have enough space because of the bulky seats and so on. But in here, you can see that these seats, of course, they're slim, and you get like 8-seater. You can put this one down like I've done now to just get the cup holders and everything else. But when we're looking at the ones at the back, you can only move 60-40, no, 60-20, 80-20, I think. I can't measure that one. But hey, you can only move the other two. But you can see, even when I'm sitting here, look, just how much space is still there in front of me and how far that is. Because this thing, like I said, it measures crazy ton of space in here, and I think it's probably the most practical bus, which makes me wonder whether when you're buying this, would you consider buying it for family, or would you just look at it and think business, nothing else, because of the way it looks as well? Because I did say that I do have some parts here and there that we'll talk about when it comes to the exterior and everything else, but practicality wise, probably the most practical bus that I have been in, or I have driven in this case, because I've been in the Staria, I've been in the Quantum VX, the premium one, and now in here, of course, together with the V-Class that you've seen on the channel, of course. You see in here, of course, you do get like speakers all over. I think it has like overall 10 speakers, and this is an in-house sound system. We're going to talk about it as well. I just wanted to show you the spaces because it has plenty. What I like is this space here that the seats leave, because that means if you have plastics like from the shops and everything else, you can actually be able to put those in. And you can see over there, there's like Type-C USB chargers. Again, you'll get another one here. You'll get another one here, and it's 2-2. So it's 2, 4, 6 here at the back, and you will get like a Type A and Type-C there in front. Coming in here, of course, this is another thing that makes it very long, because look at this. When it's opened, I don't even know how long this thing is, because then now it's like, probably more than 6 meters or so. So yeah, that's what you get. You can see that you can slide these seats here at the back to actually get to somewhere here. You'll still get sufficient space a little bit, but in there, it means you're going to have much more space, because right now already there's like plenty of space and so on. In fact, the other day I was with the gents and I was asking them, because they were sitting like here, they said they can't look like the other way while they're going that way, so they wanted to sit here. Now I'm thinking, I'm shouting when I'm talking to them, because I felt that they're a little bit far when I was driving. But you can see the boot space, everything else, you can play around with what you're gonna do, because if you need the space here in front, of course you will be able to move this seat forward. If you need it here at the back, you can also do that. I think probably this is the most practical, but hey, practicality doesn't necessarily mean that it will drive well, but we will know when we are on the way, of course. Probably just jumping in before we drive. Once again, Ford is pitching it as a premium vehicle, and you'll tell me what you think. You'll tell me what you think, because I'll tell you what you think in the next few minutes. But for now, I think, you know what? Let's start it and yeah, hit the road. So all the checks done and we are in. Seatbelt, of course, and let's power up this engine. That's the diesel sound, of course. Yep. Wait. We'll do that later. I wonder if I'm going to be able to turn here, because this thing is so long. So at 3.10, it's going to be, let's see. Oh, you can see that it has wireless system down there. So you don't only get cables and stuff. Hey guys, I need to show you this camera. This camera is so clean, especially for a Ford, because I've been seeing some of them. Even with the Everest Platinum, I wasn't as impressed as this camera looks right now. So yeah, nice thing. Otherwise, you move your gear lever here like I think Mercedes-Benz. Of course, they do them here, of course. And yeah, one thing I don't like probably is because of this parking brake. You have to do it manually. It doesn't, like when you turn off the car, it doesn't necessarily turn off, or rather, what is this, engage. So right now, you can move this car a little bit, so you have to engage it. Sometimes you find that the car is moving and so on. So yeah, that is a bit of a problem. Even when you're driving, you have to take it down before actually the car can move. So yeah, let's see if we can turn it around. Let's see. Hey, do I have enough space here? Maybe there is space. So like I said, guys, this is like a Tourneo bus from Ford, and it will cost you around 1.1 million for this one, because this is the Trend variant. You get two variants here. Now I'm not sure if I'm gonna be able to turn this thing around here. I know some of you will be like, if it was me, I would have shown you that this thing, you can turn it easily. Look, this is not my car. I don't even want to scratch the bumper in this case. But hey, yeah, I'll turn just over there. So yeah, like I was saying, you get the Trend, or you get the lower spec. It's ambient. I think they also call it ambient, like my car, the Ford Fiesta. And yeah, this one will cost you 1.1. When I checked on Ford's website, I didn't see the price for the ambient. I don't know if it's still offered right now. But when you check on the spec sheets, they do actually offer it. Doesn't really have a lot of differences. The stuff that you're gonna get as differences is this, I think the wireless charging, and what else? I don't even remember, but it's not a lot of stuff that you're gonna find to be different, because it gets the same engine as well. And let me see, there you go. It gets the same, now this thing is gonna be so dirty. It gets the same engine and a lot of stuff that you're getting in here. It's not like I'm getting leather seats. You're also gonna get I don't even remember on that spec sheet what are the major differences. Probably I'll put it on the camera and stuff. But hey, look, this one, of course, as it is right now, it comes exactly like this. If you need to add anything on the spec sheet, you probably just need to add the floor mats and what else? Trailer hitch and the roof rack stuff, I think. Those are just accessories that you're going to be adding. Otherwise, it comes exactly like this if you want it. And yeah, I think you will decide what it looks like. And like I said, for me, when I think about it overall, I think it's targeted at people who really want space, because the previous version of this vehicle, I had a little bit of an issue with the design of it, and that was the fact that when I look at it, it looks truck-like. If you can see that is it an Iveco bus that is passing there, the van one? It looks a little bit like an Iveco, and when I look at these mirrors, they contribute a lot to the design elements that is more utilitarian or something. But I understand because it is so big, they have to give you that wide mirror and the normal mirror as well, which help a great deal to actually see what's around you. I like that. You don't even need the 360-degree camera. The fact that it doesn't have it, it's not necessarily a big issue for me, because when you are reversing, when you are overtaking, this is like a serious blind spot. What is this resolution without actually using like technology in the mirrors and all these things. So they've done a great job with that. But from design element, that's where it starts to feel more like utility people mover than a family vehicle. And this is the argument that I've had before when people were making arguments around the V-Class. And I said the advantage with the V-Class is that you get a people mover that you can use for luxury business, and you can easily incorporate it as a family car, which is not always the case when it comes to these buses. So from that perspective, let me just go in and pull it for you. Of course, it's not full flat. There you go. So down low, I feel like this torque is catching at higher revs down low. That's where then you get that grunt from the diesel that's coming in. But once you start moving to what's 80 and stuff, that's where it's becoming impressive. But I was still talking about the V-Class. You know, I jump all over, so just bear with me. Bear with me. Oh, these days, man, 6 o'clock is late. I should start shooting maybe around 4. I see that it's around 6 now, and it's already late. It's like a night review of some sort. And I complain about this all the time, but I still do it. It's winter now, by the way, so yeah. So yeah, I was still saying the advantage with the V-Class is that look that they've given you, and the premium feel that they've given you. Of course, it does actually contribute a lot to how that vehicle feels and how it looks overall with the proportions to be like a family car. Unfortunately, for people who are looking for space, like I said initially, it's like a 5.1 meter, just about 5.1. So from that perspective, it's not that long for you to actually have like people that have like plenty of space in here and also a lot of bags at the back. It still packs a lot, enough actually for people that you'll be traveling with. But if it's 8 and maybe you're trying to move a group of girls on a girls trip, and you know, it can easily just turn south for you. So that's where then the advantages come when it comes to this one, because yeah, this is long. I mean, it's longer than the Staria, it's longer than the Quantum VX. I mean, when I think about it that way, I think for people that are actually getting into business, there's a lot of benefit when it comes to practicality and the vans, and we call them what? We call them buses, whatever that you call it on your side. So from that perspective, I think, yeah, I think practicality wise, this is a winner. But can I say the same about design? Like I said, look, I love it in front. It's easily saying, okay, I see that I can use this as a family car and as a business vehicle, that even for luxury travel, my people won't complain that I brought something that is just below par when it comes to calling it a premium travel vehicle. No, people won't feel like that. And when I look at it on the side, as much as I applaud them for practicality when it comes to space and everything else, hey, I can say I like it, especially with the 16-inch rims that are here. I think for me that is its biggest drawback. These wheels look very small under the wheel arches, and then there's a matter of just this long wheelbase, because this thing has the crazy wheelbase. I think it's just close to 3.5 meters of wheelbase. That's why it's called a long wheelbase Ford Tourneo Custom. You see, I have my hands on the steering wheel, but you're busy telling me that I should put my hands on the steering wheel. Ford, and it's not the first Ford that is doing this. It seems like you have to do this so that it can wake up and think that, I see that you're here now. So I'm still saying the proportions on the side, look, they're good for practicality, but it doesn't look as good. I mean, because it's so long now, and it's not like that high. I think it's around 1.9 meters overall. So it looks a little bit weird, like it's stretched in the belly of some sort. And that's how I feel about the VW Transporter, which I think it's a people mover utility-wise more than what you're getting with the Caravelle. When you're looking at it, the proportions, the look, the feel, everything else that it offers. So from that perspective, I appreciate the long wheelbase for what it offers, but from the looks perspective, it's a little bit of an eyesore. And at the back as well, yeah. Maybe if that back window was a little bit longer, it was gonna give me a complete look, but I know I'm influenced. I'm influenced by the other bus that I spoke about that we were in. So from that perspective, it's this kind of influence that I'll say it's a little bit unfair. But it looks a little bit plain from the rear. And from that perspective, I think I'm not necessarily that sold when it comes to its design elements at the back. I love the front. The side, I'm not sold. The rear, I'm not sold. But overall, it will all depend on what you prefer when it comes to looks and everything else. For me, what is that now? What's this? Is that my phone? Oh, it's my phone. Okay. Hey, sorry, VW. It's my phone. Why are you falling like that? Let me put it down here. There's plenty of spaces in here, guys. I couldn't even finish them. In the doors, on the side, in the rear, you can get a lot of spaces in here without worry or whatever. So now to the engine and performance. So it comes with the 2-liter turbocharged engine, as I've indicated, paired to an 8-speed automatic. I'm asking myself, when did Ford do 8-speed automatic? Normally I'm used to the 10-speed. I don't know if this is coming from VW. When I checked, I thought this is based on the VW Transporter, but it looks like it's the other way around. The new Transporter is going to be based on this. So those who know can tell me if this is based on the VW or VW is based on this, because when I'm checking now, it doesn't look like it's based on VW. Come on, come on, come on. Come on. There you go. There you go. There you go. Let's punch it now and put it down. Of course, it's not meant for this. Like, you're not going to be pulling it all the way. But what I like is that when it's out here, it doesn't necessarily feel like it's lazy. Even when you have full capacity, or almost full, because the last time I drove it, I had 7 people in here, including myself. It was quite a breeze. Doesn't matter whether we were going up or like the slope was going up, or we were just cruising on like this. In this case, it just performed so well that I was super impressed with it. I don't know how it will do with like full backs in the back seat there, behind the back seat, of course. I don't know how it will perform, but overall the way it performed that day, I was so impressed, because it doesn't make noise. It doesn't like making noise. It just makes noise down low when you're trying to catch up to whatever speed that you want to catch. But once it settles down, no noise whatsoever. You could literally be doing more than 120 and this thing will just be doing around 2000 RPM or something like that. So it's the diesel for you. That's the thing that is impressive about it. You know how it goes when it comes to that. So the diesel, they didn't miss when it comes to that. 8-speed auto, they didn't miss as well. You can see I can put it on manual now. It will just be on the 8-speed. If I do this, you'll see that's the last gear here. It's M8. It doesn't complain, man. I really like how it drives overall, because I thought that's where I'm gonna feel like it's truck-like and everything else around it, it's giving me that truck kind of feeling, but it doesn't do that. Funny enough, even when you're on the road like this, it doesn't intimidate you with its size, like the long size that it has at the back. It doesn't do that. The most impressive part for me, besides the fact that it performs so well for what it offers, especially 100 kilowatts, I thought 100 kilowatts, that's not necessarily going to be enough, knowing that Quantums, you get them with 115 and so on. So from that perspective, I thought it's not necessarily going to be enough, but it's actually enough. I realize that you don't use a lot of power on the road, especially on the open roads like this, where you'll be doing tours like this thing it's meant for. You don't necessarily need a lot of power. You need more torque, because that's what you're going to be pulling with. That's what you're going to actually be using just to do the overtakes, you know, catch up to 120 like I'm doing right now. Those are the things that you'll be needing, not all the power that is out there. I'm quite impressed with that. But the most impressive thing is probably the suspension, man. Yeah, the suspension of this thing is so good. I'm so impressed with the suspension. It feels so comfortable that when you look at it outside, you're thinking, oh, okay, a little bit of a taxi. But when you get in, you start realizing why Ford probably calls it a premium bus, because it's so comfortable, and probably helped by this tires that are here, because we're talking, I think, 65 aspect ratio, 215, 65, R16. Could have been bigger. Maybe it was going to be looking much better, because I've seen other variants out there. Probably Ford is scared of bringing them to South Africa because it's going to cost more. But maybe they should, because these buses are impressive on the road. So maybe they should consider even bringing the higher specs, and people will still buy. So from that perspective, I think, yeah, it impacted how we look at it overall. But the drive, man, it is winning. I can't really put it at a 2.3 million V-Class, but it is actually winning. And I'm thinking, for someone who's running a premium travel business, when you think about the price of a V-Class and this one, you're thinking, I can get easily 2 of these things and run a business with, depending on how big your business is, compared to the V-Class. But we can't compare it entirely like that, because when it comes to the other one, you'll be charging much more, because it's more premium luxury or luxury variant of travel, and this is more premium travel. That's how I feel about them in this case. But the comfort levels, I might even say, I'm inclined to say it might feel much better than the V-Class, the way I'm feeling. I'm not saying, hey, you should come for me and anything else, but this independent suspension, the tires as well, they contribute to that, because they are not like big tires. They are big tires in terms of the aspect ratio. It helps with comfort, the road noises and everything else. I'm not even getting like those the wind noise that I was talking about when it comes to the V-Class that I spoke about on the sliding doors down there. I'm not feeling that. Quietness, that's what you get in here, and I'm pretty much impressed with that. The only thing probably that is a downside with all of that is that they didn't put like a premium sound system in here, which this one comes, I don't even know the power output. So from that perspective, it doesn't necessarily overly reduce the wind noises from outside, and also like the road noises and so on. As much as they're minimal, you can still get the a little bit when you're trying to move up. Like, of course, because of this, even when you're playing the sound, sometimes you can feel that engine grunt is still coming in. But hey, you know, when it comes to sound system, let me just play it for you. So yeah, I don't know how the camera is picking it up. It's mostly all right. You can get all the instruments, just that, yeah, it's not a punchy sound system. It's enough probably for people when they're traveling, they can be able to listen to music and not complain much about it. Just that when you're at the back, it doesn't sound exactly the same as when you're in the driver's seat. Even with DSP occupation, sitting at a point where you have it for optimized for all. Let me see, tone settings. Where is that? Maybe you will get what I'm talking about here. You see, it's saying all seats. When you do this, actually it's supposed to just balance the sound across the room, but that's not something that you're getting in here. Of course, sometimes in the driver's seat I feel like it's better than when you're out there, because the speakers feel like they're apart, and yeah, the sound does that. But overall, I can't complain. They never said it's a premium sound system anyway, so from that perspective, yeah, it's okay. It does what it needs to do for this big room that is in here. Of course, getting the balance is not always easy, but hey, look, when it comes to fuel consumption on this, of course, let's see what we have here. Aman, I want to see here. 422 kilometers so far, averaging 8.3 liters for each 100 kilometers. Impressive, because Ford said I think it can do 8.2 liters extra urban, and that's what we've been doing. I've been moving around, driving it on open roads like this. Am I fatigued? Nah. Already. Hi boo. So yeah, when you're driving it like this, also like in this town, city, whatever that is, that's what you get. And Ford nailed it, because that's what I'm seeing right now. So pretty impressive overall. I think overall, if I have to think about this bus, I can put it around your VX Premium, which VX Premium will edge it because of the quality of materials. Then when it comes to the Staria as well, it's just a much better premium bus overall. The Vitlas, it's a little bit expensive. Can I think about the Vito now? Well, maybe I can start thinking about the Vito depending on the price of the new one. I didn't check that one. Then I can look at that. But overall, does it feel like I can buy it for family? Yeah, for me, no. I can't do it for business. I would enjoy it for business, and I think there's a lot more that it offers. The only drawback for me to call it a premium to luxury vehicle is the material choice that they've used. A lot of hard plastics was used, which makes it feel a little bit utilitarian, whatever that English is saying about that word. It feels a lot more like that, because yeah, this is hard. Most of the parts, it's hard. Even at the back, the doors, like on the panels as well, it feels hard as well. It's just here that it's a little bit soft, but overall, that's just how it feels, because the designs of these buses, the more you use more plastics and so on, the more it feels more like a business bus than actually getting a family bus in this case. Overall, like I said, impressed with spaces, impressed with performance. I'm quite happy with that. Just some design elements that I think maybe if they bring the highest spec variants, we might be sitting with a bus that is probably an all-rounder and a winner in this case. But I've been seeing some of them, and the previous version, I know that I've seen a lot of them on the roads. People have bought them even for family, despite what I feel about it. So let's give it time. I think then maybe we'll see how it goes about that. With that said, guys, it's even night now already. Yeah, guys, everything else that we need to discuss, we will talk about in the comments. Thank you so much for being here with me today, tonight, whatever that is. Thank you. I am out.